In the vast plains of Wyoming, where wild Mustang horses have roamed free for centuries, ranchers Sarah and Mike Thompson witnessed something that challenged everything they knew about animal behavior. When an extremely rare golden Mustang colt was surrounded by a pack of hungry coyotes on a freezing winter night, everyone expected the worst. But what happened next left veterinarians, wildlife experts, and millions of people around the world completely shocked. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss incredible stories like this one. The lead mare of the herd didn't just save the colt. She demonstrated a level of intelligence and strategy that would revolutionize our understanding of equine cognition and forever change the laws protecting wild Mustangs. It was a particularly cold December night in 2023 when Sarah Thompson was awakened by sounds that would haunt her dreams for months to come. The 45-year-old rancher had been living on the edge of Wyoming's Red Desert for over 20 years, but the bone-chilling howls and desperate neighing coming from the valley below were unlike anything she had ever heard. "Mike! Wake up!" Sarah shook her husband urgently as she grabbed binoculars from their bedroom window. "Something's happening with the Mustang herd." Through the moonlit landscape, Sarah could see the silhouettes of what appeared to be a coordinated coyote attack on the wild horse herd that had been grazing near their property for the past month. But this wasn't just any ordinary herd. It included Storm, a rare Palomino Mustang colt whose golden coat and distinctive white markings had made him famous among wildlife photographers and horse enthusiasts across the region. "Dear God," Mike whispered as he joined Sarah at the window. "There's got to be 8 or 9 coyotes down there." The pack had clearly been planning this attack for days. Coyotes are intelligent predators that rarely take on healthy adult horses, but they had identified the herd's vulnerability. The 6-month-old Storm, who despite his size and beauty, was still young enough to be separated from the protective circle of adult horses. What made this attack particularly dangerous was the weather. A late-season blizzard had covered the ground with thick snow and ice, making it difficult for the horses to maneuver quickly. The coyotes, with their smaller size and padded paws, had a significant advantage in these conditions. Sarah watched in horror as the coyotes executed their strategy with military precision. Half the pack created a distraction by harassing the adult horses on the eastern side of the valley, while the remaining coyotes moved to isolate Storm from his protective family group. "They're trying to separate the colt," Mike observed as he reached for his rifle. "Should I take some warning shots to scare them off?" Before Sarah could answer, they witnessed something that made them both freeze in amazement. Luna, the herd's lead mare, a magnificent black Mustang with a white star on her forehead, had not fallen for the coyotes' deception. While the other adult horses were dealing with the distraction, Luna had positioned herself directly between the attacking coyotes and Storm. But what happened next defied everything the Thompsons thought they knew about horse behavior. Instead of simply charging at the coyotes or fleeing with Storm, Luna began what could only be described as a calculated counterattack. She reared up on her hind legs, not in panic, but as a signal to the other mares in the herd. Within seconds, 5 adult mares had formed a defensive formation around Storm that resembled military tactics. "Are you seeing this?" Sarah whispered, her voice filled with awe. "They're coordinating like a trained cavalry unit." The coyotes, clearly surprised by the organized response, began to reconsider their attack strategy. They had expected panic and confusion, but instead faced a wall of powerful horses working together with a level of intelligence that seemed almost human. Luna's leadership in those crucial first moments of the attack would prove to be just the beginning of a rescue operation that would redefine scientific understanding of wild horse intelligence and social behavior. What Luna did next left wildlife experts questioning everything they thought they knew about equine intelligence. Instead of simply defending Storm from the current attack, the lead mare appeared to be thinking several moves ahead, like a chess master planning a complex strategy against formidable opponents. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a leading equine behaviorist from Colorado State University, would later analyze the Thompsons' video footage frame by frame. What we're seeing here challenges fundamental assumptions about animal cognition, she explained during her groundbreaking research presentation. Luna demonstrated strategic planning capabilities that we previously believed were unique to primates and certain bird species. The coyote pack, frustrated by their failed initial assault, regrouped for a more aggressive approach. The alpha male, a large coyote with distinctive gray markings, began coordinating a pincer movement designed to overwhelm the horse's defensive formation from multiple angles simultaneously. But Luna was already adapting to counter their new strategy. Sarah watched in fascination as Luna began making specific vocalizations, different types of neighs and snorts that seemed to communicate detailed instructions to the other horses. "It's like she's giving them battle commands," Sarah told Mike as she continued recording the extraordinary scene. The lead mare's first tactical decision was to relocate the battle. Instead of remaining in the open valley where the coyotes had the advantage of mobility, Luna began leading the herd toward a narrow canyon entrance about 200 yards to the north. This movement forced the coyotes to either abandon their attack or follow the horses into terrain that would limit their numerical advantage. "She's herding them toward Devil's Canyon," Mike observed with growing amazement. "That's brilliant. The narrow entrance will bottleneck the coyotes." But Luna's strategy was even more sophisticated than the Thompsons initially realized. As the herd moved toward the canyon, Luna positioned specific horses in precise formations. The oldest, most experienced stallion took the rear guard position to prevent coyotes from attacking from behind. Two strong mares flanked Storm on either side, creating a mobile protective barrier. Most remarkably, Luna had identified and isolated the alpha coyote as the key threat. While coordinating the herd's movement, she kept her attention focused on the pack leader, recognizing that disrupting the coyotes' command structure would collapse their entire attack strategy. Dr. Rodriguez's analysis revealed that Luna's tactical approach demonstrated several advanced cognitive abilities: future planning, threat assessment, resource management, and most surprisingly, psychological warfare against the coyote pack. Luna understood that coyotes rely on pack coordination, Dr. Rodriguez explained. By targeting their leader and forcing them into unfavorable terrain, she was attacking their social structure, not just defending against their physical assault. The coyotes, initially confident in their numerical superiority, found themselves being outmaneuvered by an opponent they had underestimated. Their pack hunting advantages were being systematically neutralized by Luna's strategic countermeasures. As the confrontation moved toward the canyon entrance, tension reached its peak. The coyotes realized they were being led into a potential trap, but their commitment to the attack and their hunger drove them forward into what would become one of the most documented examples of interspecies strategic warfare in natural history. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test both Luna's strategic planning and the coyotes' predatory determination in an environment that would favor whichever side could best adapt to the changing battlefield conditions. As Luna led the herd into Devil's Canyon, what unfolded next would be studied by animal behaviorists for decades to come. The lead mare had not just been retreating. She had been leading the coyote pack into a carefully planned trap that demonstrated cognitive abilities previously thought impossible in wild horses. The canyon's narrow entrance created exactly the bottleneck Luna had intended, but her strategy went far beyond simply limiting the coyotes' mobility. Sarah and Mike watched in awe as Luna executed what could only be described as a military-style ambush. "This is unbelievable," Sarah whispered as she continued filming. "She's using the terrain like a battlefield commander." As the coyote pack followed the horses into the canyon, Luna suddenly wheeled around and charged directly at the alpha male, who had been leading the attack. But this wasn't a reckless charge. It was a precisely calculated strike designed to create maximum psychological impact on the entire pack. The alpha coyote, caught off guard by Luna's sudden aggressive turn, stumbled backward into two of his pack members, creating exactly the confusion Luna had anticipated. In that moment of chaos, she let out a piercing whinny that triggered a coordinated counterattack by the entire herd. Dr. Rodriguez's later analysis revealed the sophistication of Luna's timing. She waited until the coyotes were committed to the narrow canyon entrance, where their superior numbers became a liability rather than an advantage, the researcher explained. Then she exploited their pack mentality by disrupting their leadership hierarchy. The psychological impact on the coyotes was immediate and devastating. Pack animals rely on clear leadership and coordination for successful hunting. But Luna's direct challenge to their alpha created confusion that rippled through their entire social structure. Storm, the young Palomino colt, who had been the target of the original attack, was now safely positioned in the rear of the herd, protected by a wall of adult horses who had turned from prey into predators. The role reversal was complete. The hunters had become the hunted. But Luna's masterstroke was yet to come. As the confused coyote pack attempted to retreat from the canyon, they found their escape route blocked by two additional mares who had quietly positioned themselves at the canyon entrance during the chaos of the counterattack. "She planned this entire sequence," Mike said, his voice filled with amazement. Luna knew exactly how the coyotes would react to each move. The trapped coyote pack faced a choice: continue fighting against overwhelming odds in unfavorable terrain, or find another way out of the canyon. Their pack cohesion had been shattered by Luna's psychological warfare, and their alpha leader was clearly intimidated by the lead mare's fierce determination. What happened next surprised even Luna. Instead of continuing the fight, the alpha coyote did something that wildlife experts had rarely documented. He submitted to Luna's dominance by lowering his head and backing away from the confrontation. The message was clear. The horses were not prey, and Storm was under the protection of a leader who could outthink and outmaneuver any threat. As the coyote pack retreated through a narrow side passage in the canyon, Luna maintained her aggressive posture until every predator had disappeared into the night. Only then did she return to Storm, gently nuzzling the young colt, who had been the catalyst for one of the most remarkable displays of animal intelligence ever recorded. The footage Sarah Thompson captured that December night became the most watched animal behavior video in internet history, but its impact extended far beyond viral fame. Luna's strategic defense of Storm revolutionized scientific understanding of equine intelligence and triggered a complete transformation in how wild Mustang protection laws were written and enforced. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's peer-reviewed research, published in the Journal of Animal Cognition, presented evidence that wild horses possess cognitive abilities comparable to great apes and elephants. Luna's tactical planning, psychological warfare, and leadership coordination demonstrate that we have dramatically underestimated equine intelligence, Dr. Rodriguez concluded in her groundbreaking study. The video evidence led to congressional hearings on wild horse protection, with Luna's story becoming the centerpiece of new legislation. Senator Patricia Williams of Wyoming, who had previously supported Mustang population control through culling, became the lead sponsor of the Enhanced Wild Horse Protection Act after witnessing Luna's remarkable intelligence firsthand. If wild horses can demonstrate this level of cognitive sophistication, Senator Williams stated during the bill's introduction, then we have a moral obligation to protect them as we would any other highly intelligent species. Storm, the Palomino colt whose rescue had triggered these changes, grew into a magnificent stallion who remained with Luna's herd. Wildlife photographers and researchers made pilgrimages to Wyoming specifically to observe the famous pair, contributing millions of dollars to local conservation efforts and ecotourism. But perhaps the most significant impact was on the scientific community's approach to studying animal intelligence. Luna's strategic behavior had been dismissed as instinct until frame-by-frame analysis revealed the complexity of her decision-making process. Luna changed how we design experiments to test animal cognition, explained Dr. James Mitchell, director of the National Animal Intelligence Research Institute. We realized that we had been testing animals in artificial environments that didn't allow them to demonstrate their true capabilities. The Thompsons' Ranch became an unofficial research station where scientists studied the ongoing behavior of Luna's herd. The data collected there contributed to over 40 research papers and 3 doctoral dissertations, fundamentally changing academic understanding of wild horse social structures and intelligence. Mike and Sarah Thompson established the Luna Foundation, which funded wild horse research and rescue operations across the American West. The Foundation's work led to the creation of protected corridors that allowed wild herds to migrate safely between grazing areas without encountering human development. Luna taught us that these aren't just beautiful animals, Sarah reflected during an interview 5 years after the famous rescue. They're individuals with complex emotional lives, strategic thinking abilities, and social bonds that rival any species on Earth. The long-term impact of Luna's heroic rescue extended to international wildlife policy. The European Union cited Luna's case when establishing new protections for wild horses, and similar legislation was introduced in Australia and South America. Storm, now a full-grown stallion leading his own herd, continued to demonstrate the exceptional intelligence that seemed to run in Luna's lineage. Researchers documented his problem-solving abilities, emotional intelligence, and leadership skills, suggesting that cognitive sophistication might be more common in wild horses than previously believed. Luna's incredible strategy to save Storm proved that animal intelligence extends far beyond human understanding. If this amazing story of courage and intelligence inspired you, smash that subscribe button and share this video to help protect wild Mustangs everywhere. Tell us in the comments, what amazed you most about Luna's tactical genius? Your support helps us continue sharing stories that celebrate the extraordinary minds of animals fighting for survival in the wild.